that let the criminal illegal alien go that came to Georgia that murdered our very own Laken Riley. That's who the Democrats are. Now, if we go forward in America under Kamala Harris as president, she's going to give amnesty and citizenship to all of these illegal aliens that she has let into this country. The American dream that we should be fighting for is your American dream. And that's exactly what President Trump is going to do. But we have to do this on Tuesday. If we don't convince the people that still may not want to vote, if we do not convince them to go in on Tuesday and cast their vote for President Trump, then we are looking at a future that looks very dark. A future of wide open borders, a future of economic disaster, a future of high taxes, a future that includes World War III. And you have to always remember it was President Trump who brought world peace. They can't lie about that no matter how hard they try. Now, my fellow Georgians and friends and family who are here today, we have been on this MAGA train for a long time, since 2016. And here we are, we're seeing it come to an end, and I know many of you in the audience tonight feel emotional about that, just as I do. My first Trump rally was right here in Macon, Georgia. It was. Years ago, and I can't believe that my last Trump rally on the campaign trail is right here in Macon, Georgia. But here is the message that you all need to understand. This is not the end. It's not the end. You see, President Trump is the father of our movement. He's the founding father of Make America Great Again. He's the founding father of America First policies that have turned the entire country and the world's focus back to how we should be governing. And we have a responsibility, at least my generation of politicians do, and so do many of my colleagues. You see, along with President Trump, when we elect him on Tuesday and put him back in the White House, right? We have a great responsibility to pick up this mantle along with him and carry it forward. This may be the last Trump rally in Georgia of this campaign cycle, but this is not the end of the MAGA movement. Oh no, this is only the beginning. And that's exactly what the Democrats and the media that hate us need to understand. We aren't going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. And here's the message that really needs to be understood across the aisle, is no matter the nasty names you call us, no matter how much you look down on us, no matter how much you want to lock us up and put us in jail, here's something you need to remember. You see, we're your brothers and sisters, your daughters and sons, your mothers and fathers, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. We're your friends and your neighbors. And shame on every single one of you for treating us the way you have treated us for the past 8 years. We are not garbage. We are not Nazis. We are not fascist. We are not deplorable. We're Americans, and we love our country, and we love our fellow Americans. And we want the Democrats, the left, the media, and those that have been against us for all these years, we want them to understand something. You may hate the man that we support and we're voting for on Tuesday, but you need to remember to treat us with respect. You do. You need to treat us with respect. And our message back to you is this. You need to remember to love the country just like we do. And we need to fight for it together. You see, it wasn't too long ago. It was just a few months ago. Think about that. July 13th, President Trump was shot in the face in Butler, Pennsylvania. That should have never happened. He was impeached twice. That should have never happened. They've investigated him, they've indicted him, and they arrested him and locked him up in Fulton County. None of these things should have happened. No, none of them should have happened. And there's other things that shouldn't have happened to Americans. January 6, 2021 was not an insurrection. And there's people that have been locked up or still being prosecuted, have been put in prison for years. And the way our federal government has treated them is some of the worst things I've ever seen in my lifetime. They never did this to the violent BLM and Antifa protesters, did they? Rioters. No, they didn't. It's a hypocrisy that should never be forgotten. So as you go to the polls on Tuesday, I want you to carry this with you. Your government should never become tyrannical and lock you down, force you to take a vaccine, muzzle you with a mask. Your government should never become tyrannical to take away your rights and your freedoms. Your government should never become tyrannical to lock up people because they protested an election, because the elections belong to the American people. So on Tuesday, Georgia, let's vote for Donald J. Trump and send him back to the White House.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage former White House Press Secretary and Governor of Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Good evening. What a great night to be in Georgia. And what an even better night to be a Donald J. Trump supporter. This is an unbelievable opportunity and such an incredible honor to get to spend this night with you talking about America's favorite president. When I started at the White House, and when the president named me his White House press secretary, I was the very first mom and only the third woman to ever hold that job. And in that role, the left and the Democrats relentlessly attacked me. They attacked my appearance. They attacked my intelligence. MSNBC host said that I was vile, unfit to be a mother, not even human. My family was kicked out of a restaurant. And another parent at my children's school spit on our car. Let me be clear, the left does not care about empowering women, but Donald Trump does. When the left was attacking me, when they were tearing me down, it was Donald Trump who stood up for me, defended me, and gave me confidence to step back on the stage and do my job. We were walking into a meeting after some of those horrible things had happened. The president stopped me, grabbed me, looked me directly in the eye and said, "Sarah, you're smart, you're tough, you're beautiful, and the only reason they attack you is because you're good at your job. Now get back to work." The left doesn't want to support women. They don't want to empower women. They want to empower themselves. But Donald Trump not only wants to empower women, he wants to empower every American, and he wants to fight for a country that means something, stands for something, and will bring stability and peace to the entire world. Donald Trump is the leader and the fighter that our country needs at a time when we need it the very most. The reason I know how much Donald Trump loves this country is because I got to see it every single day for 2.5 years, working alongside him, watching him take hit after hit and keep fighting, keep standing up, and keep making America great. Over the course of the 2.5 years that I spent at the White House, I traveled with the president literally all over the world. And on one particular trip, December 25th of 2018, I went on a trip that I will never forget. It was Christmas night, and we had just finished cleaning up wrapping paper that was shoved into every corner of our family's home, thanks to our 3 kids. When I walked out on my own family's Christmas, unable to tell them where I was going that night, because the place I'd be traveling was so dangerous they didn't want anybody in the world to know that the President of the United States was going to be on the ground even for a few hours. Yet we have men and women who serve there and sacrifice every single day, putting their lives on the line so that we can live in the greatest country the world has ever known. We boarded Air Force One in a way we never had before, in total darkness. No lights on the plane, no lights on the runway. And 12.5 hours later, when we landed in the war-torn part of western Iraq, it was a similar scene. No lights on the plane, no lights on the runway. The only light you could see was coming from a dining hall where hundreds of troops had crowded in. They had gathered thinking they were having dinner with senior military leadership. They had absolutely no idea that the President of the United States was going to walk into that room. And when they did, a sight and a scene and a sound that I know I will never forget unfolded. You had people from every part of our country, every race, every religion, every political party represented in that room. But in that moment, in one perfect voice and in total unity, they chanted over and over again, USA, USA, USA. It was a perfect picture of what makes America so incredible. You had men and women willing to put everything on the line to fight for our country, to fight for our freedom so that we could enjoy it. One of the young soldiers yelled from the back, he said, "Mr. President, I re-enlisted in the military because of you." And the president said, "Son, I'm here because of you." An incredible moment. Ladies and gentlemen, that young soldier deserves to know that he has a country back home that is doing their part in the fight for freedom, that is doing their part in protecting it, preserving it, and making sure we have the ability to pass it on to the next generation. Donald Trump will be the president that does that. you are here tonight because you love America. And I hope that you will remember why you love America. America is the greatest country that the world has ever known because we're the freest country the world has ever known, and we have to fight for that freedom. We have to protect it. And you have the ability to do that on Tuesday. Each one of us has a part to play in the fight for freedom. Not all of us are called to serve on the physical battlefields of Iraq. Not all of us are called to run for office. But we are all called to be part of the fight, to defend our country and make sure that our kids and grandkids get to enjoy it the same way we have. So when you leave tonight, don't just leave thinking what a fun time that you had. Leave here energized and committed to doing your part in the fight for freedom and making sure every single person you know shows up and votes on Tuesday. Unless, of course, they tell you they're voting for somebody other than Donald Trump, then you let them know the election's been moved to December and we don't need them. No pressure, Georgia, but the entire country is counting on you, and I know that you will deliver and you will do your part in the great fight for freedom. Thank you so much for being here. Let's put Donald Trump over the finish line. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage United States Senator Marco Rubio.
What a great speech. What a great governor. What a great delegation. What a great state you guys are. We're not far from you in Florida. I want to start. This is a Trump rally, so we speak straight. I want to speak straight to you, okay? All right. When they called me about this yesterday, I want to be honest. They said, yeah, we're doing this rally in Georgia. Maybe you want to come up. It's not that far, you know. And I said, look, I don't know. I mean, right now, we're up 10-3 in the first half. I don't know if they're going to want to see me tomorrow over there, because right now my Florida Gators are eating the dogs. But they played the rest of the game, and Georgia went Georgia on us, and so I'm sure you're very happy. For the fourth straight year, and so, but I said I gotta go. I have to be there. First of all, because they're going to be in a good mood, and second, because of what's truly at stake. Look, I thought I was going to come up here today and tell you about all the horrible things that are being said. I'll be honest. Look, there's always been bias in the media. I don't know if you guys know that. There's always been bias because, and I mean bias exists because every human being is biased. Okay, I'm biased. All right, we're all biased. But I don't think we've ever seen what we've seen in the last 10 days. This is nothing but a full-scale effort to do everything you possibly can at virtually every major media outlet in America to depress and suppress Republican votes and Trump voters, and to undermine and prevent Donald Trump from being elected. I've never seen anything like it. It's a full-scale assault. Even yesterday, Kamala Harris was apparently on an airplane headed to Michigan. They called her, do you want to be on Saturday Night Live? And they made a U-turn, apparently left a bunch of people stranded, waiting for her. I don't know how many people went to a rally anyway. She probably told them Beyonce was going to be there, so they all showed up, and then, did a U-turn and went to Saturday Night Live, by the way, in violation of the law. But my only hope was, I hope she laughed on Saturday Night Live in front of millions of people just to heard her laughing for a few minutes, because that's probably worth 2 or 3 million votes right there. But it's an all full-scale assault. I did a show this morning, and interesting. They take like a 5-second snippet of something Trump says and says, oh, he's calling for violence or he's violent rhetoric. As a violent rhetoric, he's the guy that's been almost shot at one time and almost assassinated the second. He's the violent rhetoric. They're the violent rhetoric. So, but all this is happening, but I want to focus on something in the limited time I have with you that's a little different, but the same in some ways. And that is what we're hopeful of. Look, my parents were born in Cuba. They came here in 1956. There's no way there's 4 Cubans here. That's not true. That's not true. 4? If there's 5, it's called a conspiracy. 4 is all right. It's manageable. By the way, I want to make clear, Mark Cuban is not Cuban. Okay? I don't know how he got that name. He's not Cuban. He's not Cuban. All right. So, and I'm an American by birth. They're Americans by choice. And let me tell you something. There isn't a day that goes by, and this sounds like maybe it's not true, but it really is. There isn't a day that goes by where I don't thank God that they came here and that this country existed, that it was the nation that was 90 miles from the shores of the nation of their birth. Because it was the only place in the world where anyone from anywhere could achieve anything by working hard and playing by the rules. And I'm telling you guys, as someone, I don't know, I never lived in another country, but I live surrounded by people that did. And the people who have come from other places and know what life is like outside of Americans, they're the first ones to tell you, do you guys have any idea how special, how unique, how extraordinary the country that you have is? How extraordinary and special the United States is. And it is something that I think has been instilled in me my entire life, but it's what propelled me to want to serve in public office. And it's what I fear is at stake and what we're losing. Not because our people are the greatest people in the world. We're still a great people, capable of extraordinary things. But we've been led by people who have led us on the wrong path, the path of decline, the path of destruction. And we have a candidate running for president that at its core, what his message is, it's the most straightforward message you can ever have. What is the message of Donald Trump's campaign? He wants to make America great again. How is that offensive? How is that outrageous? How is it offensive to say that the number one job of the United States government is to serve the American people and put them above anything else? When did that become offensive? That's common sense, and we need that again. We need a government led by people with a president that puts you before anything or anyone else. Since what is it offensive to say, look, we have a country, we have to have laws. If tomorrow you announced anyone who wants to come to America, please do, which is basically what's happened. But if you just basically said, from now on, anyone who wants to come, just come anywhere you want, anytime you want. Literally, 150, 200 million people would come. They would come here. But no country in the world would do that, except this one under this administration of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And when you have 11, 12, 13 million people, yes, the majority of them are not criminals, but if 5% of 12 million people are dangerous criminals, that is a lot of dangerous criminals, and they're in our country, and they're doing damage now, and that needs to stop. How is it offensive to say that that is going to stop? And how is it offensive to say that we want America to be respected in the world again? They don't respect Joe Biden. They'll laugh at Kamala Harris. The world has spiraled out of control with Joe Biden. It'll catch fire under Kamala Harris. We'll have more wars and more conflict and less fear. So it is not radical and it is not outrageous to want a president that is feared and respected by our enemies and trusted by our allies, like Donald Trump. So, I am tired of bad news. I am tired of negative headlines about our country. I am tired of hearing the price of this is going up, and more crime over here, and more war over there, and less respect for America. We are tired of the bad news. We want to live in an era of prosperity. We want to live in an era of safety and security. We want to live in an era of peace, and we want to live in an era of strength. We want an America that dreams big again, and for that, we need to elect Donald Trump. That's the stake in this election. That's grew up in. That's the America my children, your grandchildren deserve to inherit. And there's only one way to do that. And that is you have to come out and vote. We have to come out and vote. And if we do, Donald Trump will not just be our 45th president, he'll be our 47th. And America will be great again for our children and for the future. Thank you and God bless. Thank
you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Burt Jones.
What's going on, Macon, Georgia? I do appreciate Senator Rubio for being here today. Let's give him a hand. That was a great job. He reminded me he was a University of Florida grad when we were backstage, and he said he was a little concerned he wasn't going to get here. I told him there was no doubt it was going to be fine. We welcomed you with open arms regardless. But how about them dogs on Saturday? The last time I was standing on this stage, it was about a month ago with a musical artist named Jason Aldean. And he and I were here to present a check for the hurricane victims. And because we partnered with Donald J. Trump, we raised those hurricane victims $7 million that night. I always like to say that because the media never reported it. But within 4 days of partnering with the president, we raised $7 million, and it's going to the hurricane victims. And we need to keep our thoughts and prayers of those hurricane victims in there because our state was hit hard. We had a great number of speakers tonight, and I do appreciate, particularly our out-of-town speakers, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Didn't she do a great job tonight? Of course, Senator Rubio, he did a wonderful job, and I want to thank all of our congressional delegation as well as our legislators. Y'all please give them a round of applause, too. They did a great job. You know, earlier this week, I think the Biden-Harris regime referred to us as a bunch of garbage, I believe. Isn't that right? I tell you what, I can remember the first, I was a co-chair of the Trump campaign back in 2015. I co-chaired again in 2020, and I remember that first rally that we had here in Macon, Georgia, and it was just as big as it is right now. And I can tell you right now, if this is what they consider garbage, if this is what the Biden administration considers garbage, then I'll take this trash all day long. Y'all mean? I'll take it all day long, and I'd say put me in, Coach, because if I want to go to battle, I want to go to battle with this crowd right here. It is unbelievable, it is unconscionable that there is a party that refers to an entire group of people as garbage, as Nazis, as deplorable, as people who just cling to their guns and Bibles, I believe, is what I heard. Isn't that right? No, I tell you what we love as Americans. We love cheap groceries. We love cheap gasoline and being energy independent. We love a closed border and not allowed. And we love people to love our country as much as we love our country. Isn't that right? Those are just basic things that you would think that they would want, but they don't. Instead, they want to insult us when we don't agree with them. And they want to tell us that we're not right and that we should pay more at the gas pumps and we should pay more at the grocery stores and we should allow $20 million people unchecked and unvetted into our country and allow them to be citizens, right? But I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick and tired of that. And on Tuesday, we're going to change the direction of this country. And it's going to be by a man that has a simple message: make America great again. What is that? This race should not even be close. It should not even be close, because as we were voting on the issues, President Trump would win in a landslide. But this media crowd that we have back here, the national media crowd we have, they're the absolute worst. They're the absolute worst. They have villainized this man for the last 10 years, and they have been the reason that there's been 2 assassination attempts on him. They have been the reason, along with their coastal elites, that he has been prosecuted or attempted to be prosecuted by all these rogue DAs around the country. I know a little something about a rogue DA. I had one in Fulton County that tried to come after me as well. So guess what? I beat her too. Because the truth will always set you free, and if the truth is on your side, you will win. And I want to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This movement, this Make America Great Again movement, you need to take it all in tonight, because you will never see anything like it again. You will never see anything like it again, not in our lifetime. But fortunately, we're going to get to see him 4 more years in the White House starting Tuesday. So please, please, please go vote. Get your friends to vote. Get your family to vote. I've said it many times, if you don't have a friend, go make one between now and Tuesday. Get them to vote. God bless you, and let's make President Trump 45 to number 47 in this country. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Heisman Trophy winner and football legend, Herschel Walker.
I grew up about 60 miles from here, and I said about 60 miles because I don't want anyone fact-checking me and know that there's a little bit more. And about 40 years ago, I met a young man that was just the way I grew up. He loved his family, and he loved this great country. We hit it off. That young man was Donald J. Trump. Today, we both are a little bit older, but we both still have good hair. And I can tell you 40 years ago, President Trump hasn't changed. He still loves his family, loves his country, and we're still friends. But our founding fathers risked everything when they stood up to the king. And men and women in our military sacrificed their life to help protect what our founding father gave us. And you know, Donald Trump is cut from the same cloth. He has sacrificed a lot for this country, and in so many ways. And it really disgusts me when I did hear them insult him with all these names. One of them, they called him a racist. Oh, yes, well, no. Wait. And if y'all haven't noticed, I'm black. But I've had some people on the left that said that I wasn't black. And now they've thrown all these bogus lawsuits after me, trying to bankrupt them. And they've tried to throw him in jail. And with this hateful rhetoric, they've had people to take shots at him, try to kill him. But man can't stop what God got in store for you. So let us not let Donald Trump down, because he's not going to let us down. Donald Trump times in office, we had a great economy. We had a secured border. Crime was down. There was no men and women's sports. And other countries respected us. Now think about this. Would you like for me to compete against your daughter? And many of you may not know, I'm back in school at the University of Georgia. And I was on campus when Laken Riley was killed. And she was killed from an illegal gang member because of the Biden-Harris weak or no border policy. While Donald Trump can't bring Laken back, but he can help her family and help us to stop this illegal immigration. And he can help us to stop all the criminals from coming into our country. We need to have Donald Trump's back because he's got our back. And then we can take our country back. And I've heard our opponent call us garbage. They said that we were garbage. But they can call us garbage all day long. They can call us anything they want, because in the great book that I read, it said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And if they wanted to fact check me, that is in Isaiah 54:17. And as Michael Jackson said in his song, The Man in the Mirror, that we can make a change. But that change is gonna come if y'all get out and vote. So if you haven't voted, you need to get to the poll right away. And as Bert said, bring a friend, bring a relative, bring whoever, because we have to take our country back. And Donald Trump is not just my friend, he's your friend. And it is time for us to step up to the plate. It is not time for us to sit on the sideline anymore. Because when you see what they're doing to this country, you say it's a dying shame. And it is time for it to stop. And it stopped on Tuesday when we get to the polls and we vote for my friend and your friend, Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump.
Let's take our time tonight, girl. Above us, all the stars are watching. There's no place I'd rather be in this world. Your eyes are where I'm lost in. Underneath the chandelier, we're dancing all alone. There's no reason to hide what we're feeling inside right now. So baby, let's
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are live in Macon, Georgia. For those who are unfamiliar with Georgia geography, we are about 2 hours outside this city of Atlanta, Georgia. And I would say that we're middle Georgia. Some people call it South because there's some accents, but this is technically middle Georgia. Great place to be. I've got a lot of family that's from in and around Macon, Georgia. So I love being back here in my home state. Stand by. We're going to here. everyone's getting back to their cameras now that we are done with the pre-program. So that was an incredible pre-program of speakers. Actually, one of the best ones I've seen yet, with hundreds of rallies under my belt. We had some special guests that I wasn't expecting. Of course, there's the typical Georgia crowd, which is our great congressmen and congresswomen. We had Doug Collins, Mike Collins, we had Marjorie Taylor Greene. We also had some superstars like Herschel Walker, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and Marco Rubio. So if you missed those, you can go back and watch them on Right Side Broadcasting Network later. But really quickly, I do want to give a shout out to our friends over at Birch Gold Group. We know there's a lot at stake this November, and regardless of who wins, the fuse on the economy has already been lit. Even 4 years of conservative presidency will not be enough to turn the tide on our $30 trillion of national debt. If the left wins, it's like throwing gas on a dumpster fire. You don't control much for the election's outcome, but what you can do right now is protect your savings by diversifying into gold with the help of Birch Gold Group. For millennia, gold has stood firm in the face of greedy governments, economic upheavals, and global strife. And it can also protect your IRA or 401k now. To see how, get a free info kit on gold by texting the word Trump to 989898. Plus, when you make a purchase from Birch Gold Group by Election Day, you'll get a free Trump Silver Fight coin. These one-of-a-kind coins honor a significant moment in our history. The design caught the attention of President Trump, who immediately got one for himself. Now you can have one just like Trump. Go ahead, text the word Trump to 989898. Again, text the word Trump to 989898. All right, let's jump into why we're in Macon, Georgia. Georgia is a hot spot. Georgia is a highly contested swing state for the 2024 presidential election. In 2016, Georgia was not a swing state. It was a red state that had historically been red for decades. Many presidents didn't even bother campaigning here very hard. 2016, absolutely not a swing state. However, and in 2016, President Trump won the great state of Georgia. 2020 was an absolute mess. We know that. Fulton County is disgraceful, some of the things that happened. However, Biden had a higher percentage points with less than, he won Georgia, allegedly, right, by 0.02%. All right, the great state of Georgia, that is 16 electoral votes. It had been red for decades, but you're going to tell us that they won by 0.02%. To put that into perspective, that is less than 12,000 votes. So the outcome, not just for Georgia, but because of carrying those 16 electoral votes and how important it is to win Georgia, was based on less people than are here right now. So if every one of these people in the audience today gets out and votes, we win Georgia. We take back the White House. The road to the White House runs through Georgia. If every single person watching this stream right now goes and votes, and if you were from Georgia, we win Georgia. It's that simple. All you have to do, it's not just sit and watch these rallies, it's to make sure you get out and vote. Now, I'm going to assume that if you're watching on Right Side Broadcasting Network, you've already done your civic duty, you've done your due diligence, you knew that you needed to get out and early vote. So I'm not necessarily preaching to y'all. You guys are rock stars. What I need y'all to preach to your friends and families. The middle ground. Maybe you haven't talked to them in a while. Maybe you're scared to say something about politics, but it's so easy. I've been doing it all week. I've been socializing, which is rare, but when I talk to people, I ask them like, hey, have you voted? And a lot of them are just like, no, it's just not really for me. And I'm sitting down, I'm like, oh, it's poor for you? Do you ever want to buy a house? Do you want to rent forever? Did you know that under President Trump's administration, the average cost of a mortgage monthly was $700 in the United States? Now, if you wanted to get a house, the average mortgage cost is $2,000. It went up from $700 to $2,000 in just under 4 years. Imagine what can happen if we give these horrible people, this horrible regime, 4 more years to continue destroying America. Don't let it happen. Get your friends, let them get out and vote. I also want to talk to you about what has happened with early voting in the state of Georgia. I'm going to pull up an article because I think Fox News says it a little more eloquent than I can. So I've got that saved right here. I also want to give you some updates on President Trump. President Trump, this is going to be his 3rd event of the day. He has been incredibly busy versus Kamala, who had 1 event somewhere in Michigan, I believe. Not worth noting, uneventful, unexciting. Beyonce wasn't there, J-Lo wasn't there, I'm sure nobody went, right? So President Trump is out campaigning. He's not giving up on Georgia. I'm from Georgia. I love to see it. I know that in 2020, I think we had maybe 2 or 3 big rallies here. Now there's multiple rallies every single week. I love to see that President Trump is not forgetting the great state of Georgia, and he's fighting to make sure that Georgia remains red. All right, so let's jump into here. This is an article by Fox News that says rural Georgia counties outpace dim strongholds as Peach State shatters early voting records. 23 counties won by former President Trump in 2020 are leading Georgia in early vote turnout percentages. And I'm going to jump into the article, but I want to give you some information before we get in there of why that's important. Georgia right now has shattered every record in history for the state for early voting. Over 4 million people in the state of Georgia have voted. Now, why is that important, or what can you do with that information? What can you tell from it? The reason that's important is to know where those early voters came from. And right now it's showing the data that a lot of those early voters, those are historically very, very red counties. So what does that tell you? Hopefully good news for President Trump. Rural Georgians are voting early at a higher rate than those living in Democratic-leaning counties that were key to President Biden flipping the state blue in 2020. The most recent data shows of the state's 159 counties, the top 23 for absentee and early in-person voter turnout were won by President Trump in 2020. According to the state's elections website, that includes the rural counties of Towns, Oconee, and Raven, which have seen 69%, 65%, and 64% of their active voters already casting ballots. Towns County voters outpaced the Georgia County average early turnout rate by roughly 15%, and that's reported by the AJC. That includes suburban, blue-leaning Cobb County and Gwinnett County, as well as Democratic stronghold of Fulton County, home to Atlanta. Of Fulton County's active voters, 53% cast ballots before Election Day. Georgia has smashed early voting records since it began on October 15th. On Wednesday evening, state officials announced that more than half of the state's total active voters have already cast ballots. Turnout in several rural areas that favored Trump is already close to total 2020 turnout. But it's crazy. We're not even at Election Day. We are still, well, we're past early voting, but we've already surpassed the 2020 Election Day results with just our early voting. So Georgia is getting out for President Trump. They are absolutely voting. Atlanta metro area counties that voted for Biden are still significantly larger than rural counties with higher turnout, however. Nearly 385,000 Fulton County voters cast early in-person ballots, followed by 275,000 from Gwinnett and 270,000 from Cobb. I am proud to be one of those 275,000 early voters from Gwinnett County. I hope some of y'all are too. But by contrast, that's just under 7,000 Towns County residents that voted in person during Georgia's early voting period, which ran through Friday. Regardless, the spike in early voting in rural parts of Georgia could be a sign that Trump and Republicans have been successful in their efforts to gather enthusiasm among their base. All right, that is absolutely huge, you guys. Great news for Georgia, but I don't want you guys to get comfortable because, like the article said, Fulton County is also a very concerning place to be. In order for someone to win Georgia, they really need to nail down Fulton. They would also need to nail down Gwinnett and Cobb County. But we've been out in Cobb County, we've been in Gwinnett County. I think President Trump's going to do just fine there. I also want to give a shout out to our friends over at the Wellness Company. The world's on edge. There's natural disasters, economic turmoil, election chaos, and health threats that are hitting us from every single angle. Meanwhile, our government is sending money overseas instead of protecting its own citizens. With whispers of another pandemic coming, waiting for the system to step in is a dangerous gamble. You cannot afford to be unprepared. That's why I'm excited to tell you all about the Wellness Company's Contagion Emergency Kit. Designed by Dr. Peter McCullough, it's packed with essential medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and even a nebulizer, perfect for treating respiratory illnesses as flu season approaches. We've seen drug shortages in pharmacies turning people away. Don't risk being told no when your family's health is on the line. The Contagion Emergency Kit gives you control, no red tape, no delays. Visit MakeCareGreatAgain.com, use code RSBN, and save up to $60 off with free shipping. That's makecaregreatagain.com and use promo code RSBN to save up to $60 with free shipping now. All right, you guys, I've got some fun stuff pulled up here. We're going to talk all through it. I want to talk to you guys about some of the polls, some of the also online election websites where you can actually bet. I'm so curious this year because this is the first year where I think the FEC has decided that you can legally place bets on elections. So I'm very curious, like how the online prediction markets that are currently up, how that is going to compare with traditional polls and how that's going to compare with the data. This could be a new way to predict who's going to win. But before I do that, I want to give you a quick update on President Trump's whereabouts. President Trump was scheduled to take the stage here at 6:30 p.m. President Trump, from what I can see online, President Trump actually landed via Trump Force One at Warner Robins Air Force Base around 6:30. A little map quest, and I can see that is 30 minutes from where we are right now. So give or take some time to get to the motorcade, to get it over, to get where he needs to be on stage. But technically, President Trump could take the stage any minute now. 6:30 plus 30 minutes. That would get us to 7 o'clock. It is 7:06. We can make predictions. I think that's always fun. If you have watched rallies for a while, you kind of get a sense of whether or not he's going to be late, when he's going to take the stage. I think he'll take the stage at 7:15. 7:15 is my guess. I will lock it in. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We'll see who's right. Who knows Trump best? But this crowd has been enthusiastic for President Trump all day. This is a really unique venue. This is actually an amphitheater. It's called Atrium Health Amphitheater. It is here in Macon County, or Macon, that's Bibb County. Again, we are just about 2 hours outside of Atlanta, hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Atlanta, Georgia. This state that allegedly chose Biden in 2020 by less than 10,000 votes. President Trump needed, I think, like maybe 11,800 votes, and he would have taken Georgia's 16 electoral votes. But there's a lot going on with swing states right now. Georgia's not the only one. I'm sure you guys can tell I'm obsessed with it because I won't shut up. But I do want to talk about some of the other swing states as well. So I'm going to pull up a poll that I saw earlier today. This is more of a traditional poll, and then we'll get into the online election prediction markets. I'm curious which ones are going to be more accurate, but we'll see. So this is Harris versus Trump in swing states that I'm reading right now, and this is the Atlas National Poll. Again, Atlas National Poll is what I'm citing. All right, so the states that we've got North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Okay, this poll, you guys, no cap. This poll has President Trump taking every single swing state. I'm going to keep my phone this way now because I have no idea what's going to come on that screen next. But this is huge. President Trump truly does have the opportunity, the chance, and the likelihood of winning all of these swing states, which has never been done before. But the momentum around this country is huge. People are so tired of living the way they have in the past 4 years. I'm 31 years old. I'm tired of not being able to get a mortgage to buy my first home. I want to do that. I want to start a family. I don't want to do any of that in this economy that I'm in right now. I don't want to have a daughter killed by illegal aliens. I watched the video earlier about the young girl who spoke to President Trump about what happened to her 11-year-old daughter. She was raped and murdered by gang members. It's absolutely awful. I don't want to bring someone into that right now. I want President Trump back. I know you guys do. Two, we can make it happen. You can get out and vote. You can vote for a safer future for your family. You can vote for a more prosperous future for yourself and your family. All you got to do, get out and vote. All right. So those 7 states, it has North Carolina. It's got President Trump up by 3.4 in North Carolina. Georgia, it's predicting that Georgia will be President Trump up by 2.5%. Arizona, it says Trump's going to win by 6%, which is interesting because I've seen a lot that says Georgia is actually going to be the biggest swing state for President Trump in terms of marginal victory. We've also got Nevada, where President Trump is predicted to win by 5.5%. Wisconsin, that's +1 for DJT. Michigan, +1.5 for Trump. And Pennsylvania, +1.8 for Trump. So really bad day to be Kamala Harris. But again, I don't want anyone to get too comfortable. I want to encourage you, despite the good polling, we know that polls are not always correct. So So we are going to get into the online prediction markets in just a minute. But before I do that, I want to talk about our friends over at Republican Red. I think if you follow me on socials, you know I'm a friend of a fine wine, and Republican Red is one of those. If you're ready to celebrate election night, then there's still time to get your hands on some delicious patriotic wines from our friends at Republican Red Winery to toast and watch our great nation make history. Head over to republicanred.com now to order a selection of the finest wines, perfect for an unforgettable evening as we stand behind President Trump on November 5th. You can have the 4547 Pinot Noir, the Second Amendment Cabernet Sauvignon. You can do a Drain the Swamp Chardonnay, and also a Never Surrender, which is a collectible wine featuring a gold leaf label commemorating President Trump's triumphant fist pump following an attempt on his life, an iconic moment we will never forget, a moment etched in our hearts here forever. Only 2,000 were produced, and only a few remain. Republican Red Winery is a family-owned and is dedicated to crafting wines that reflect our love for America and conservative values. Each bottle is made for true patriots ready to celebrate our freedoms. Don't wait. Visit republicanred.com now to ensure you have the perfect wines ready to pop open on this historic night. Use the discount code RSBN for extra savings. There are expedited shipping options available as well. This election is the most important election of our lifetime, so let's make it a night to remember. Again, that's republicanred.com. Order yours today. Get it in by Tuesday. Have something to pop open when we reclaim our White House Tuesday night. Hoping that we get it all counted by Tuesday night. We'll see. One of the great things about Georgia right now, which is it's not historically known for having the best election integrity systems in place, but because of this massive amount of early voting, so many people have already voted, right? So they're thinking that the election results might actually get tabulated faster on election night. So we might actually get the results back faster than we had previously anticipated. But go check out that wine. And fun fact, I will actually be in Palm Beach on election night. So that's really exciting to me. I've never done that, not in 2016, not in 2020. But now in 2024, I get to go down. I'll be at the convention center. So excited to just witness this in person. I'm going to say hi to my friends at RSBN. I won't be broadcasting, but I might pop on for an interview. So maybe you'll see me there. If I have a glass of red wine in my hand, don't judge me. All right, so that's election night. Monday night, however, I will be, and I'm really excited. I haven't shared this yet online. I wanted to get like a proper post done, but tomorrow night I am going to be covering the Grand Rapids, Michigan rally, and that is up in Michigan, so I'm going to hop on a flight and head over there in the morning. But that was actually the last campaign stop in 2020 for President Trump, and that is going to be the last campaign stop in 2024 for President Trump. I remember covering the 2020 Grand Rapids, Michigan rally like it was nothing. And actually, my camera guy that I've got with me right now, he was my camera guy for Grand Rapids, Michigan. We have so many funny stories, like freezing our butts off and running like 2 miles because the traffic was backed up so far. We ended, you're like in the middle of nowhere, it's pitch black. We couldn't even see what road we needed to be on. We sprinted individually. I went first. I jumped out of the car. I was like, I'll go warn the people at press reentry that we're on our way, that we're coming. And then eventually, I can't breathe. I'm freezing. It's miserable. But we're doing what it takes to get there. And then I turn around. Gage is right behind me. He's incredibly fit. I don't know how he caught up to me so fast, but good for you, Gage. We made it happen. You guys had no idea of the craziness that we barely got in there on time. But I remember thinking that this is going to be the last rally I ever do. I was so upset because rallies mean so much to me. And then election day happened, and it was shocking. But now we have our chance again, so we're going to do it again, babes. I'm going to be there just like I was in 2020. I'm excited to cover that for you guys. I actually have a guest with me that's going to pop on really quick. Hi. All right, so we're live. I know you're from the great state of Alabama, but I want you to introduce yourself and just tell us quickly a little bit about what y'all are doing.
Okay. I'm Joan Reynolds, and I founded the Mighty Alabama Strike Force. I am originally from Mississippi, but I've lived in Alabama all of my life. And so I have 4 teams here. That I have 7 teams in all in Georgia since the first of the month. And I have I think we have 135 volunteers here that have been strictly knocking on doors for Donald Trump.
That's incredible. Thank you for doing that. What has the response been from some of these doors that y'all have knocked on? Are you feeling confident about it? Have you gotten some backlash from any of the homeowners?
Yes, we feel really good about it. In fact, I hear from some of my volunteers, because I can't knock on all the doors, so I have to count on them. And they're very optimistic. And some of the areas that we've been in have been ethnic areas. They're really excited. Now, sometimes they won't tell you, but if you talk to them for a few minutes, they'll tell you who they're for.
What inspired you to start this task force to go knocking door to door? What was the deciding factor on that?
Well, 16 years ago, one of our congressmen called my husband and asked him that they needed some help in North Carolina. And so he said, do you know somebody that could help them in North Carolina? Because at that time, Obama, was running. And he said, oh, yeah, I know the perfect person. And he turns around to me and says, she's right here. And so that's how I got started. I went up there. I spent about 2 weeks there. And then 3 or 4 of my friends came, and they helped me but I was there 3 weeks. And that's how I got started. And I realized that how important it was to be able to knock on doors and have that meaningful conversation with an individual about the reasons we're doing this.
Yeah. I was just explaining, it's surprising because we're in politics, we assume that everybody knows they need to get out and vote and why they need to. But some Americans, they just don't watch the news. They don't think it's important to vote. They don't know the severity of this election. So it's really important that people like you get out and they make those connections.
Yes, it's that contact. And when they see that we're from another state and we've actually come over here to try to help them or go whatever state. I've been in 9 states. So that's important. I think that's really great.
I know Tuesday's coming up. We're almost there. But if somebody wanted to get involved and follow along or possibly volunteer maybe in another election, how could they find more info from you?
They can go to my website. It's mightyalabamastrikeforce.org. And they'll see a lot of the trips that I've taken. And in 2016, I had 150 people knocking on doors in Florida for Donald Trump. And so I was in 6 different cities. The RNC asked me originally would I go to one city, and I said, I'll go to Tampa. And they said, that's great. And then he calls me back and he says, oh, no, we need you to go to Tampa, Jacksonville, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Panama City, and Pensacola. So I had 6 cities. So
my final question, because I want everyone at home to know what it's like to be here tonight. How would you describe the crowd and the energy for President Trump here in Macon, Georgia? For those at home who can't really see what we can see.
It is exciting. My volunteers are just ecstatic over coming. I went to one in Tampa back in 2016, and of course the energy was great there. But listen, they know how important this one is. This is a make or break time for everybody. And I am so proud of all these speakers saying, go vote and take somebody with you.
Amen. All right. Thank you so much for coming over, and thank you for all your hard work. All right. All right, you guys. Again, for those who are just tuning in, I'm Liz Willis. I know I need to recenter myself. I move around all the time like a little lizard. It is 7:18 p.m. tonight. We have gone past my guess. I guess President Trump would be here at 7:15. No problem at all, though. I love to be here, being able to interview a few of the guests and talk to you guys, to be your eyes and ears on the ground. President Trump was scheduled for 6:30 p.m. We do know that he was running behind in North Carolina, which was his second campaign stop of the day. That's right. This is actually going to be President Trump's 3rd campaign rally today, which is absolutely crazy, but I'm not surprised. He had that energy in 2020 as well. I remember covering it, doing multiple rallies a day, and I think Kamala Harris had one event today. Not sure if she went or not. Very underwhelming there. But this is going to be President Trump's 3rd event, and it is a packed house. I know Right Side Broadcasting Network posted a crowd shot on their X account, so you can go check that out by going to @RSB Network. Yeah, on X. And you can see that little panorama crowd shot. Go ahead and share that. Let people know that Georgia is for President Trump. We got to get out and vote. Everyone's going to say it. I don't know if I'm like beating a drum because you guys are rock stars, but try and get your friends, get 2 or 3 friends, get out and vote. Again, Georgia was lost, right, by less than 12 12,000 votes, between 10 and 12,000 votes. So if everyone in here went out and voted, those 16 electoral votes are going to Donald J. Trump. It's also possible that we get all the other swing states. So I know I had promised to talk to you guys about some of these online prediction markets. I'm looking at one right now. I'm going to cite Kalshi for this information right now, and this is an online prediction market. Again, this is the first year that Congress, FEC, has legalized online prediction betting. Oh, I see a special guest, actually. We'll get to that in just a minute. But we've got Bruce Lavelle. Bruce Lavelle, thanks for being on with Right Side Broadcasting Network. I saw you down there front and center earlier today. I will let you introduce yourself, but I also want you to describe some of the energy that you've seen being down there, being with the crowd.
Well, you know, it's bittersweet for me, and thank you for having me. It's very emotional because I actually introduced President Trump to Georgia in 2015. I actually opened the rally and introduced Donald John Trump to the great state of Georgia. And it's bittersweet for me because this is the last rally that we're doing tonight. And real quick, I actually talked to some of the folks backstage, and I said, you know, this is a tribute to me for Herman Cain, because Herman Cain and I opened this rally and introduced President Trump. So this is a very emotional time for me, and I know for all the viewers and also for the folks that reside here in Georgia. I mean, it's like the last rally of President Trump, and it's right here in the great state of Georgia in Macon. So it's bittersweet for me.
I agree. I'm from Georgia originally, too, so I never thought Georgia would be a swing state. I don't know what happened in 2020, but it was very close. Less than 12,000 votes is ultimately what decided where Georgia was going. Right. I don't think that's happening again in 2020 Trump, but that's not because I love Trump. Right. It's because of the crowds that I've seen. It's because of the campaign strategy that they've utilized across the state. They've been here, 3 or 4 times a week for the past few weeks?
Well, you know, you got to remember, too, it's interesting you said 2020. We got more votes, that's true. But remember, we were shut down. We've never ran an election where the country shut down and said, oh, don't worry, we'll mail your ballots. So listen, the enthusiasm, the adrenaline, and listen, Georgia, that's right, broke the record of early voting turnout in Republican history. And at one point last Saturday, there were 164,000 people on Saturday. That Sunday was 64,000. So 250,000 early voters on the weekend before that were Republicans. They said, well, who's at the polls? Listen, our poll watchers, we know who's in line, ladies and gentlemen. So, yes, and to answer your question about how did Georgia become a swing is because we opened up the world to come do business, and everybody flooded here because they wanted to live here.
California came.
Exactly. And the same thing we're going through in Florida. I have another home in Florida. I like to say I'm a dual resident. Listen, Governor DeSantis and all the Georgia people, it's okay to invite people to come to your state, but say, look, there's conditions if you come, okay? Don't bring, yes, your, quote, woke ideology, your crazy voting record to the great state of Georgia or Florida. Leave it back there where it is and come join this great tent called the America First movement.
You've had the unique opportunity to actually get to know President Trump personally. A lot of us have not had that pleasure, but can you speak on some of his characteristics that make you support him?
Right. Well, you know, believe it or not, I didn't tell this story for a long time. I just revealed it not too long ago. I actually met him in 1991 in Atlanta at Club Petrus. Back then it's a very upscale dance club. He was in town doing a fundraiser for little black babies that had the AIDS virus. Back then they called it AIDS, but now we call it HIV. And if you remember that interview he had with Tyrus on Fox about how he did philanthropy all the time, but he never wanted to talk about it. That's one example. He was at Southwest Atlanta in the hood, kissing, hugging these babies. That night he went to a popular nightclub. That's where I met him. I've been friends, following him for 33 years. And so a lot of people don't know I say the soft heart. I won't say soft if you're watching, soft heart. But there's a tremendous amount of philanthropy and giving that he's done that he won't talk about. So that's the guy I know. And listen, real quick, you can't be successful without loving people. And remember, he's in the hospitality industry. And in order to be successful, you have to know how to serve people. And that's where your success comes from. And so that's to his credit. That's why he does very well. That's why he's very easy to make a great big rally like this, and inspire and excite a lot of people to come because he knows how to make the sale. That's what it is. And it's no different than hotels or whatever you're doing. You're making a sale to the American people that, you know what, God has gifted me and blessed me with world travel and meeting so many different cultures. Of course, lots of money. Now let me go ahead and take a step down and risk it all for the sake of the nation. That's very commendable. A lot of you viewers out there, you're doing the same thing, whether you're city council or state rep or congressman or just a commissioner or state court judge. We appreciate you. And we also want this big tent right here is an invite for you to serve, to get on those ballots and join this great America First tent. That's for everyone. Doesn't matter what color, what you look like. We don't want you to take the pay to play. We just want you to come serve. Don't stay long. Do a couple of terms, as they say in the church, and then go sit down. But then inspire some of your great neighbors and your business friends who are very successful and say, hey, it's your turn to serve this great America First tent.
We hear that you need to get out and serve, but what message do you have to undecided voters that are sitting at home that might see this, that you can convince them whether or not they need to get out and vote for Donald J. Trump? Are there any specific policies that you are looking forward to him being able to enact as the 47th president?
Well, this is what I always said. One of my great mentors that helped me become very successful, my wife and I here in Atlanta, very successful business people, is that don't get caught up in the noise. Pay attention to the numbers. And the emotional noise will get you distracted and make bad business decisions, and it'll make you choose bad candidates. And that's the thing that we're trying to fight back is the lie that you saw about him being a racist and all this other crazy stuff. Get away from that and look at the numbers. Did we have low interest rates? Yes. Did we have low fuel costs? Yes. Did we have low grocery prices? Yes. Did we have strength with power to our military, strength through peace? Yes. Did we have any wars under his tenure? The first time in the nation's history of a sitting president, we had no wars, and we had everyone in check. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, somebody's got to be the boss. I'm sorry, somebody's got to lead. Let it be the United States of America. Let it be under President Donald John Trump and many others that want to serve and want to run for office one day. And if it's you out there doing this is what this great movement's about.
Bruce, thank you so much. I want to know, how can our audience follow along? I know you're on X. Any other platforms? What's your handle? How can they follow along with your journey? Because I know you're not done. No, I'm not. I'm actually going to go serve with him. When we win, I'm going to go back and serve. Last time I served as a business to the White House. This time I'm going to come up there. I'm going to watch his back. Yes, I am. That's why they call me the real OG. That's right. 100%. And how you answer your question? I'm sorry. I get caught up. It's Bruce_Lavelle on X. And of course, Truth Social is Bruce Lavelle. And some of the other fake media platforms, y'all know, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Okay, but mainly that. And thank you, though. Thanks for having me. I love this show, man. I love the network. I love the great state of Alabama. And I know that's where y'all from. Sweet home Alabama. And I'm so glad to have you. I follow you on X. I saw you. I'm like, I know Matt texted me too, but I'm like, come on.
No, Matt's great, though. Matt is awesome. I love you guys all together. I know Harrison, too. Harrison Field, you watch it. Good shout out. He was a great press secretary, assistant press secretary. But, you never know, for the White House. So, yeah, y'all got some great team, though. I really appreciate it. Always.
Thank you for sharing some of those stories with us. It's really special to have that perspective.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. God bless.
All right,
thank you.
Enjoy the rally. All right, you guys. Again, that was Bruce Lavelle. We're very grateful that he was able to come over and join us here on RSBN for just a little bit. Like I said, you never know who's going to pop up. Might grab someone else. We'll see. Okay, finally, let's talk about these online election bets that are happening right now. Again, this is going to be from the Kalshi that I'm citing. So for the first time in history, people are actually able to put their money where their mouth is. They are betting instead of these traditional polls. I have no idea if this is going to be accurate or not, but one of the polls is who will win the presidential election. Right now, President Trump is up 53%, and then Kamala 47%. So it's got President Trump winning by 6 percentage points, which honestly, I can see that. President Trump has actually, I've been following this a little bit. President Trump has actually been has been higher up. So this is getting more and more narrow, these margins of victory, but it still has him. He has been the clear winner for a while now. So we'll see about that. It has Kamala winning the popular vote. And then let's go over to swing states. So this is interesting. Okay, so of the swing states, and if anyone needs me at headquarters, I think my AirPod's broken, so just shoot me a message on Slack if you need my attention. But let's go over some of these swing states. I know we read the Atlas poll earlier, which actually had President Trump dominating all 7 swing states. This one's got, let's see, who will win Arizona? It's got Donald Trump way up in Arizona. It's got Donald Trump at 70%. All right, who will win Georgia? It's got Donald Trump as the victor in Georgia at 59%. Who will win Michigan? All right, it's got Kamala Harris winning Michigan at 65%. Nevada, President Trump taking the W there in Michigan at 55%. North Carolina,